Everyone, we're going to need a couple more minutes in the boardroom, then we'll get going. So just be patient, please.
Okay.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, I think we got everything set up on this one. So we will call the meeting to order. As you've probably noticed, when we say the pledge all in different spots, it gets a little echoey and a little distant. So Commissioner Kruger, are you there?
I am.
Can we all rise and would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Doug. And again, good morning. As we move through this meeting today, I am in the boardroom along with our administrator, Sheila Murphy. I'd like to call a roll call of commissioners. Commissioner Szymanski.
Present.
Commissioner Wright.
Present.
Commissioner Kruger.
Here.
Commissioner Nagel is here, and Commissioner Pohlmeyer will not be here today. If we experience any technical difficulties, we'll deal with them as we go, and we'll move through our agenda item. Reminder that all votes today are roll call. And when I say reminder, everybody remind me, because I'm usually the one that forgets it as we go through this and deal with that. So with that, Sheila, anything else before we get started?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I have a couple of changes for the agenda, please.
Very, very good. Go ahead.
Under administration, request to add special board meeting to be held virtually and at the McLeod County Courthouse boardroom on November 24th, 2020, 9:00 a.m. to consider final CARES Act Coronavirus Relief Fund recommendations by the Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee. Closed meeting notice scheduled for the special board meeting to be held virtually and at the McLeod County Courthouse on November 24th, 2020, to discuss results of the condemnation hearings, a summary with County Attorney Michael Young. This closed meeting is expected to last 30 to 45 minutes. Administration item F, please note a change in the location of the December 1st, 2020 Truth and Taxation hearing. It will change from the McLeod County Courthouse boardroom to the fairgrounds. It will either be in the Agribition building or in the commercial building. We are not sure yet, but it will be posted at the fairgrounds for that December 1st meeting and online. And that's at 840 Century Avenue Southwest in Hutchinson, Minnesota. This meeting will also be accommodated virtually, and all participants are encouraged to attend virtually online or via phone. We'll have this same type of format. And the elected officials annual review and McLeod County board meeting on the same date, December 1st, will also be relocated to the fairgrounds Agribition location or commercial building, as well as accommodated virtually online or via phone. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Being that the consideration of agenda items with no other additions or corrections, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Move to approve with the corrections or additions.
I'll take motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Aye.
Commissioner Wright?
Aye.
Commissioner Kruger?
Aye.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Commissioner Wright, move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second by Szymanski.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Aye.
Commissioner Nagel is aye. Motion carries 4-0. All right, our COVID-19 update. Barrett, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Well, one of these times I'm going to come to the board with some better news, but today is not the day. So as earlier this morning, we looked at our line list and we had a cumulative total of 1,430 positive cases of COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic, with 3 probable cases. If you'll recall at the last board meeting, which was November 3rd, I reported we had 699. That's an increase of 731 positive cases in 2 weeks, or a 51% increase. Doubled, essentially. Of those cases, we've got 49% male, 51% female. That continues to be the trend that we have seen since the start. We have had 8 COVID-19 related deaths since the start of the pandemic. At this time, we have 24 residents from McLeod County that are hospitalized due to COVID-19. 1,039 people, or 73% of those who have tested positive, are out of isolation at this time. Our cumulative positive test rates for the county were at 5.8%, the state 6.3%. The race of those testing positive, white or non-Hispanic, 67%, Hispanic or Latinx, 18%, Black, African American, less than 1%, American Indian, 1%, and the remainder are not reporting a race. The location of our positive COVID-19 tests, Glencoe at 31%, Hutchinson is now the leader at 36%, Lester Prairie 10%, Winstead 8%, Silver Lake 4%, Stewart 2, Plato 3, Brownton 5%, and the remainder, which is about 1%, are not reporting a location. Our school rate, which came out last Thursday, is at 40.47%. We're expecting it to essentially double this week on Thursday when that report comes out. Many of the schools, which I'm assuming you guys have heard about, are moving to either a hybrid model or full distance learning for all grades after the Thanksgiving break. We continue as public health to work with those schools and help them with their decisions and support them any way that we can. We also have more businesses reporting business clusters. We continue to work with those people. Again, a cluster is any business that's reporting 3 or more positives. And our long-term care facilities and communities, we've definitely seen an uptick in their cases as well. So we continue to support them. So I just encourage everyone to continue to follow those safe practices and be mindful of your safety and your surroundings, and wear your mask at all times, wash your hands. We are working with Christy Christensen in the GIS department to create a dashboard of this data to post on our website. So we'll have some kind of real-time data to be able to share with all of you and with the community members as well. So we're excited about that, and hopefully we'll be able to get that going in the next couple of weeks. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Barrett? Okay, is Kevin here today, Sheila? All right, we'll move. Any updates that you have for us?
Sheila, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
As we noted at the beginning of the meeting, we are holding a special meeting for the board on November 24th, next Tuesday, to have the Coronavirus Relief Fund committee members present the final recommendations to the board. Because of timing, all of the payments from the county have to be made by December 1st. So we'll go over that during the administration portion. We continue to have many of our employees working remotely to try and stay safe and accommodate the influx of cases in our community, working with Barrett's department for the communication that is just coming so quickly, all of the changes at our schools and businesses. We're expecting that the governor will have some important updates today on restrictions that will affect our communities even greater than they already are. And COVID has really hit home in McLeod County. I think all of us now know someone or groups of people who are personally affected, and we're just asking everyone to stay safe and thanking our board for the support during this tough time. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right, any questions for Sheila, commissioners? Okay. You guys hear me? Because I can't hear you.
We can hear you, Joe.
Okay, thank you. All right, very good. We will move to our public hearing regarding the fee schedule. We'll consider the public hearing open. Sheila, do you want to take that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Summary of changes are as follows. The copy of the draft fee schedule is included in the board packet. On page 3, addition of open gym fee at the McLeod County Fairgrounds at the rate of $3 per person per day. Page 4, formatting changes to the way that transportation and access entrance permits are listed under county highway. No change to fee amounts. Page 5, increase the highway labor rates for GIS labor and administration labor by $5 per hour. New rates would be $55 per hour for GIS labor and $60 per hour for administration labor. Page 5, addition of law enforcement fee for USB flash drive data medium at $25. This requested change is to accommodate outside requests for large file sizes that are unable to fit on a CD or DVD. Page 8, addition of new land shark fee for recorder's office, credit card access fee of $5. This is a new convenience fee added to land shark. Page 8, addition of social services, adult services and case management fee. This will be a sliding fee based on federal poverty guidelines. And page 8, addition of new social services chemical health assessment fee. This will be a sliding fee based on the state fee scale. That's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, this is something we've seen at our workshop several times and have went through in some detail, some great detail, considering some of the topics. Commissioners, any questions or concerns? Otherwise, it is the point of our year that we approve the fee schedule.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Wright, I'll make a motion to approve the fee schedule.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second by Commissioner Szymanski.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, it would
Hearing
be,
none.
since this is
Yes.
a public hearing, it would be appropriate to seek public comment if there is any.
Thank you. Any public comment? There is a gentleman in the boardroom. Are you here regarding this fee schedule, sir? No. All right. So there's no public comment in the boardroom. How about
Mr.
online?
Chair,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I just got a text to, someone better than me can explain the credit card fee. The $5 credit card fee. Could somebody explain better than I what that really means?
Mr. Chair, it doesn't appear that Lynette Schrupp is available today. However, it's listed in the packet. The addition of the credit card access fee is a convenience fee added to Land Shark. So that's actually not a county added fee. Does that
Okay,
make sense?
It does.
Mr.
It does
Commissioner.
to the person that texted me. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. There is a motion on the floor, but any other public comment? Hearing none and seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Fee schedule passes 4-0. All right, nothing else with that, Sheila? All right,
The
Mr.
public
Chair,
hearing
I'll
should
call the-
close. Mr.
Move to
Chair,
close the public hearing.
all right, one at a time. Mike, go ahead.
that's what I was going to recommend that you do.
Thank you very much. All right, motion by Commissioner Kruger to close the public hearing. Any discussion, or is there a second?
Second by Szymanski. Go on.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. We'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Public hearing is closed. All right, we have some more health and human services items to consider. Barrett, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two requests for you today. Item A, consider approval of the 2021 Children's Mental Health Screening Grant Contract for the period of January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021, and authorize McLeod County Health and Human Services Director to sign the contract on behalf of the county board. The requirements of this contract are ongoing duties in the county, and there is no change to the services the county is expected to provide. The total award for the county is up to $52,277. The Department of Human Services has switched to using contract format and is no longer accepting hard copies of signed contracts. They will only use the DocuSign process. That is why the request for me to sign on your behalf.
Any questions for Barrett? If not, is there a motion to approve the contract?
Mr. Chair, I'd move to approve the contract.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, Barrett, item B.
Thank you. Item B, consider approval of the 2021 contract with Brown County Evaluation Center, Inc. to provide detoxification and evaluation services to referred clients for the period of January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. Through this contract, Brown County Evaluation Center, Inc. will provide detoxification and evaluation services for clients who are referred by McLeod County Health and Human Services and/or McLeod County Law Enforcement. Services provided by Brown County Evaluation Center, Inc. will be billed at a rate of $443 per patient per 24-hour period beginning at time of admission. McLeod County is a member county and will receive a discount of $88 per recipient for all amounts paid within 30 days of the receipt of the bill. Transportation costs will be billed at 64 cents per mile plus the IRS allowable rate if the client is unable to provide their own transportation.
Sheila, you have something to add?
I do. So when we were working on the agenda and saw this item, of course, this always comes up as just an item of curiosity for our board where they would probably want some more information. So we did pull some of the information for the cost that is applied to the county over the years, because we do sign multiple invoices for this throughout the year. So it is, of course, of interest. In 2019, Colleen ran a report for me, and that shows that the cost of the county was around $90,000 for this. And Paul has shared in his concern before in talking about the cost of the county for these types of services. But I looked as well at another report that she provided, and the state reimbursement, I believe for 2018 through present, we don't have all of 2020 yet, was a little over $60,000. So those costs are a little jaded when you're looking at them because some of them are reimbursed. So I don't know if Barrett wants to add anything to that, but just wanted to provide that information to the board.
Mike, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, this is one of those items that fall pretty squarely in the area of law enforcement, social services, and our office. We talk about drug, sex, booze, and gambling being major costs for the county. This is one of those places where that is so evident. One of the ways that people get put into detox is that they're too impaired to go into our county jail. And I would guess that that's probably half to 2/3 of the total numbers that are going into detox. So they are so impaired by alcohol and or drugs that they cannot safely be in our jail setting. And that's a part of the reason that the cost is as high as it is, because they need to have observation and or medical care, and they're usually in there 2 to 3 days. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Barrett, Doug, if you forgive me. Barrett, did you have anything to add?
No, I don't. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sheila.
All right. Commissioner Kruger, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yes, I just wanted to make a motion to approve this contract so we could go into discussion.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second by Szymanski.
Mr. Chair?
Any discussion? Yes.
As Sheila alluded to there, we had quite a discussion when we set up the agenda on this, and I guess it unfortunately is one of them cogs in the wheel that makes the wheel turn. So it's one of those deals you have to go. The only thing I'd have for Mr. Young is that directed? Is that supposed to be directed payback to the county through the courts, or how do we really determine who can afford to pay it back and who pays it back and who doesn't?
Go ahead, Mike.
That is not determined by the courts. I believe that if the person has insurance, their own insurance is expected to pay it. If they don't, then the county is. It's the county's policy about who they will accept and will not accept into the county jail. And really it is a personal safety issue. If you had 5 people at a 3-0 in our county jail, the results could be a disaster. And likely would be.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote.
One more thing.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
I'm not sure what the exact limit is. I think that it's over about a 2-0 that they will not let them be in our county jail. Joe, perhaps you know that better. A what?
That's a 2-5. 2-5.
And if you think about a 2-5, that is three times the normal or the unlawful limit to be driving a motor vehicle. To give you an example, I'm 175 to 180 pounds. For me to get to a 4.0 is 4 cocktails in an hour. So triple that, you're up to 12. Plus, I would burn off about 1 for every hour. That's the level of impairment that we're talking about.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. All right, thank you very much. Barrett,
Thank you.
anything further?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Yep, thank you. All right, environmental services, Mark?
Mr. Chair, before we start Burke's item, Steve Krieger, thank you, is here in the audience with us. I'm going to go in the hallway so that you can hear the discussion.
Okay.
Because our audio is tough when we're in the same room and doing a mix of in-person and Zoom. However, in item BA of this, it notes exceed 1 o'clock p.m. Sunday. It should read 11 o'clock p.m. There's a typo.
Okay.
It'll be in the hallway. Thank you.
All right. So we'll get organized here with that, but we can take item A, Mark, if you're ready.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you. So item A is a consider approval of a rezoning application 20-03 by Randy Redmond of Remax Results Realty, representing property owner Fred Pauk to rezone 10.20 acres of parcel 14.035.1200 from agricultural to B1 highway business for the purpose of constructing mini storage units. This property is located in that part of the northwest quarter of section 35 in Winstead Township. Just as a reference, it is just to the south and east of the Highway 7 and County Road, or former County Road 261, County Road 1, Babcock Avenue by Shadowbrook. The Winstead Town Board unanimously recommended approval at their October 8th, 2020 meeting. The City of Lester Prairie Planning and Zoning Commission and the Lester Prairie City Council provided a written statement indicating no objections as requested on October 16th, 2020. And the McLeod County Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval of this at their October 28th, 2020 meeting. The reason this is on the regular agenda is we did have a few property owners present at the public hearing for the Planning Commission concerned about drainage and in regards to any potential illegal dumping that would occur on an adjacent property to the south. So Mr. Dahman is that property owner, and I'm not sure if he's on this meeting today, but just for the board, those standards are already in ordinance. We typically cannot condition rezonings because there is a list of permitted uses in that section of the ordinance, as well as the ag and the rural residential and the industrial. So we'll handle a lot of those conditionings at the time of the permitting for the structure themselves. And then the screening part, there will be screening required for these individuals if this is approved, because the second party typically is responsible for that screening of the higher use.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Mr. Dahman, I do see that you're on the call here. Anything you'd like to discuss? No, okay. You're shaking your head, no. Okay, very good. Mr. Redmond, anything you'd like to discuss before we move forward?
Nothing at this time unless you have some questions for me.
All right, commissioners, any questions for Mark or these gentlemen? All right.
Mr. Chair, quite honestly, I looked through the information of the Planning Commission and just listened, and I didn't hear nothing from Mr. Dahman. So That's what we have our people for, to check through this, and it looks good to me, so I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second by Szymanski.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes,
And I vote yes also. Motion carries 4-0. All right, Mark. Item B, I think Steve is set up in the other room if we need to talk with him.
Okay.
So I think we're in good shape there. So go ahead.
All right, very good, thank you. So item B is consider approval of conditional use permit 20-18 by Steve Kruger to operate a ballroom event hall on a highway business zone parcel located in section 12 of Collins Township with the following conditions. Hours of operation shall not exceed 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday. B, designated parking shall be marked. C, a stamped set of architect engineered plans denoting occupancy compliance shall be submitted to McLeod County Environmental Services prior to being open to the public. D, all Minnesota Department of Health regulations for food prep and service shall be met and is the responsibility of the owner applicant. And E, a pumping agreement shall be submitted to McLeod County Environmental Services for the existing septic system prior to being open to the public. This commercial lot is platted and abuts State Highway 15 and an existing Zone B1 Highway Business Zone lot, the Lake Marion Supper Club, which is on that adjacent lot. This property was rezoned to B1 on August 20th, 2020, as we remember. The Collins Township Board unanimously recommended approval at their October 8th, 2020 meeting. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval at their October 28th, 2020 with the above conditions. So Mr. Kruger is present. There was nobody at our Planning Commission, but in light of this going back potentially, the former Lake Marion Ballroom site to a ballroom, I felt it pertinent that we put this on the regular agenda.
Thank you for that. Mr. Kruger, anything you'd like to add before we ask the commissioner?
No, thank you.
All right.
There's been good communications with myself and Mark Telecki, and I believe that we're on track. So I've already met with the food inspector, Broughton Fire Chief, State Fire Marshals by phone. Everything seems to be proceeding well so far.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you for coming today.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you.
Go ahead, Doug.
It is Krieger, by the way. I know he prefers it that way, and he actually, he pronounces it right. I'm the one that pronounces it wrong. But the only question I have for you, Mr. Krieger, is that do you own both the supper club and the ballroom, or just the ballroom? I've never been quite clear on that.
I do not. About maybe 13, 15 years ago, the properties were separated out. There are still the owners of the supper club. Her husband passed away, but her and her son are still operating it. Although I'm working a parking agreement with them, I'm going to help them with some class 5 on their parking lot and some snow removal so that I can make the front of the building all handicap access and then have close parking for some of my customers. That's the hope. But no, they are separate owners. So I would be owning on the north side of that road that comes into that peninsula and 5 acres, which goes up to the McLeod County campground.
Okay.
Just to
With that,
clarify,
I think he's.
Mr. Kruger, just to clarify, there is no immediate family relationship between Doug Kruger and Steve Krieger, correct?
That is correct. Eager Krieger to try to open up a ballroom in the middle of a COVID crisis. I don't know what I'm thinking. So maybe I might have to join the Kruger side and get a little bit more sense on my head. I don't know.
Yeah. So I
With
wasn't
all that,
worried about
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, Paul Wright, I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Well, we know that they're
Mr.
not
Chair.
related. Hell, they can't even pronounce their names the same. So, go ahead, Commissioner
Mr.
Szymanski.
Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
For Mark Telecki. The hours of operation on Sunday through Thursday, what's the end time, just for clarification?
Sunday through Thursday will be 11 PM, and that was
All right.
agreed to by Mr. Krieger at the planning commission meeting. So there was a lot of discussion, and he was very instrumental in those hours, and I appreciate that.
All right. All right, Mr. Pilecki, the reason I asked is in the packet, it states 10 PM, Sunday till 10 PM. So I think we just need to clarify that in the packet, that it is 11 PM closing time.
Yeah, the reason for that difference, Mr. Schmansky, is because I originally recommended that as a starting point, and then at the planning commission, they did change. So I did not want to change what was recommended in the staff report. The conditions reflect what was approved at the planning commission.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I screwed it up. All right. Commissioner Szymanski. I knew I would.
Aye.
Commissioner Szymanski.
Hey,
Commissioner Wright.
Noggle.
Aye.
Commissioner Kruger.
Aye.
It's Nagel. Votes aye. Motion carries 4-0. All right.
We
Thank you,
gotta
gentlemen.
laugh.
Thank you, Mark.
Mr. Chair, we have to laugh a little bit or we'd all go crazy. So
Good point.
Mark, anything else?
Nope, thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you. Sorry for the little delay there. All right. I think if I'm reading this right, we're on to the assessor's office. Sue, are you there?
I'm here. Oh, can you see me? I lost the video here just a second. There we go.
Yeah.
Good, great.
Yep. Go ahead.
So this is concerning the assessor's policy that was handed out to you at the workshop a couple of weeks ago. Anybody have any questions or concern on what they read?
Commissioners, any questions or concerns?
Any clarification on any items at all that you feel worrisome?
This is something that we've been working on for a while now, and we've seen it a few times. So this is the point where I guess kind of where we give it our final approval. So commissioners, do you have anything?
no, I've went through it. This Commissioner Kruger, I've went through it. I have no problem with it. If it passes and it's implemented, I just want to make sure it gets out to the townships and that everybody that has any questions about them gets them clarified, and I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Anything else? And of course, that's Commissioner Wright. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it hits the points of my concerns. I think it seems to, if nothing else, be a great place to start. Although I think it is a good policy, a good document. So down the road, maybe it'll need some tweaks, but we need a place to begin. Thanks to Sue and administration for getting that together. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve the policy.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski.
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger.
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. All right, Sue, anything else?
Nope, that's all I need. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Hannah, we're on to employee relations.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I have 3 items for you today. Item A, consider adopting Resolution 20 CB 38, the adoption of the County Personnel Act. We've been talking quite a bit as McLeod County is working to exit the merit system. There are different processes, and this is one of them, which is the adoption of the County Personnel Act. And this is required per Minnesota Statute 375-57 through 375-71. And just really briefly, basically, this is something that all counties should have enacted, and it just sort of goes over general best practices for personnel-related items. And we've been talking quite a bit about the personnel committee that you have approved or are approving in the new personnel policy, and that's one of the items within this County Personnel Act.
All right. Again, something that's been discussed in great detail and now needs board action. Any questions? All right, I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
All right.
Is there a second?
All right, second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, will proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes.
Thank you.
Item B, Hannah.
Yep, item B, consider approval of the memorandum of understanding to include the sentence to serve crew leader in the Minnesota Public Employees Association, or MNP, Communications Officer, Correctional Officer Unit. For the stated duration of the collective bargaining agreement, the sentence to serve crew leader position will be included in the MNP Communication Officer, Correctional Officer Unit.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by
Motion to
Commissioner
approve,
Szymanski. Is there a second? Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second, Kruger.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I guess, I mean, I was on some search committees, if you want my words, to find a crew leader, and some of the challenges that we had going through all this, and then finally getting to where we are today, it was the right, maybe personally not my desirable place to go, but it's the right thing to do. And I got high hopes for what was going to happen with the sentence to serve. So that's just my 2 cents.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes.
Thank you. Item C, consider personnel committee recommendation for a temporary 6-month increase for a current child support officer from a 24-hour per week to 40 hours per week. This request is being made by the Health and Human Services Director to help support the child support supervisor, who is currently balancing a full caseload as well as a full supervisory load. The plan was to increase one of the current part-time staff to full-time permanently, but due to COVID-19, that was put on hold. In addition, the child support caseload completion drives revenue for the Health and Human Services Department.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, I'll second. All right.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
All right. Anything else, Hannah?
That's it. Thanks.
Okay. We'll move into administration then. I think. Yep. And we'll start with our calendars. Commissioner Szymanski, will you start us off?
Sure will, Mr. Chair. Following our last board meeting on November 3rd, we followed up with workshops. We've already handled some of that action. On November 5th, Prime West Health met in a joint powers board via Zoom, and everything is going according to plan there. Looking for better times next year. COVID-19 is not hitting Prime West very hard, which is very fortunate for us. So we're happy there. And then on November 12th, the Meeker McLeod Sibley Community Health Board Joint Powers Board met, and things again focus being on COVID-19 issues, but things are proceeding well there. Our audit came back. We have a nice clean audit on the Community Health Board, so everything is good there. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Wright?
Yep, main meetings attended since the last time we met. So our workshop, which Ron mentioned, had one of the CARES committee meetings where we continue to see a large amount of businesses accessing that program, which is good. That's what we wanted. I had our long range planning committee met with Janet Addy and or Adie, excuse me, and her team, starting to set up the foundation for the upcoming months with her, which was very, very productive. And I think we're going to be getting started within a few days with that. And
all right, Commissioner Kruger.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. My calendar and what I really did is probably I've spent quite a bit of time on the phones with our administration because of COVID. And I mean, too numerous of times to really be specific, but what we have done is we've had our CRF, our CARES Act funding committee meetings. We've had our, I attended by Zoom the department head meetings, our meeting on the 10th. Did our agenda review on the 12th and our CRF on the 13th. Again, with that and a lot of other communications with different people in our administration. Thank you.
All right.
Get back
and
to
I will, yeah, I will wrap it up with, again, the workshop. Had some individual CARES meetings with business owners from the Hutchinson area that I think followed up with Sheila's office as that went through. Had a canvassing board after the election on the 12th, which was about an hour long and went well. Did participate in a NACO phone call regarding some public safety issues, and then some ditch phone calls. And whether they're a pandemic or not, the ditch phone calls don't stop. So with that, I think that is good for our calendar. Sheila, anything to add?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, then let's start checking off these administrative items.
Mr. Chair, I did overlook, I was on a Zoom meeting yesterday also with the AMC, Association of Minnesota Counties Health and Human Services Committee. We were working out our committee platform for the AMC annual conference coming up next month. And so I overlooked that meeting, but we had that one yesterday. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, Sheila, go ahead.
Thank you. Item A, consider approval of health insurance addendum with the Law Enforcement Labor Services Local number 329, Sheriff's Department non-licensed sergeants, effective January 1, 2021.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Motion carries 4-0.
Item B, consider approval of health insurance addendum with the Minnesota Nurses Association representing the Public Health Unit, effective January 1, 2021.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the addendum with the Nurses Association.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Commissioner Wright, second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yeah.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Motion carries. Item C.
Thank you. Consider awarding McLeod Publishing, Incorporated, Glencoe, Minnesota, the printing of the 2019 McLeod County financial statements for a cost of $800 with funds from the administration budget.
Move
Oh,
to
I'm sorry.
approve.
The Hutchinson Leader and the Herald Journal declined to provide a quote. We did send a request to all three. Thank you.
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Commissioner
Second,
Wright.
Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Item D.
Thank you. Consider approval of the Budget Committee recommendation to reallocate the $500,000 reserved for to be determined cost fund balance of the CARES Act Coronavirus Relief Fund over to the Business and Nonprofit Assistance Fund. Any funds remaining from that move after distribution to approved business and nonprofit assistance recipients for eligible expenses will be reallocated to the County Emergency Response and Funding of Expenses. On August 18th, 2020, the board approved the allocation of the CARES Act Coronavirus Relief Funds to community resilience, business and nonprofit assistance, education partner support, county emergency response and funding of expenses. And then we had this $500,000 remaining for to be determined costs, knowing that when we got to this point in time with the CARES Act funding that was allocated to McLeod County of the $4.368 million, that we would need to make a decision of where to apply those funds. I believe that the Budget Committee and the commissioners who have worked on the Budget Committee believe that this is the best use of those funds at this time, but we also ask that we would be able to reallocate the back whatever would not be used in the essence of time, because we only have until December 1st to make all of these transactions. Thank you.
All right, very good. Budget Committee, anything to add? But it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll just add, when we put this together, as Sheila had mentioned, we had the $500,000 left kind of unallocated, or we called it reserved for emergency use or to be redetermined. We just weren't sure, and we wanted to make sure that when we got to the end that there was something left that we hadn't tied up into a fund elsewhere. And with the huge demand that we are definitely seeing from that business and nonprofit assistance that we'd originally started with 1.5 million, adding that remaining $500,000 into that fund area is definitely the right thing to do with this stimulus program. So I'll make a motion to transfer those dollars.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Motion carries 4-0. All right, item E.
Thank you. Consider approval of Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee recommendation for disbursement of funds up to the amounts recommended within your board agenda and packet upon receipt of documentation of qualifying expenses within the program guidelines. If qualifying expenses are less than the approved amount, the lesser amount will be distributed upon approval. The total disbursement amount recommended by the CRF committee for this round of disbursements is up to $562,701.64. The business and nonprofit organizations listed are being recommended for approval up to the grant amount shown from McLeod County and participating townships and cities. Upon board approval for those receiving McLeod County grant funds, the business and nonprofit organizations shown will receive a payment of up to 50% of the approved amount. The second McLeod County funds distribution will occur in November 2020. This will occur after our special meeting on November 24th, and all of the allocated funds will be distributed by December 1st. At that time, the approved grant recipients will receive up to the remaining 50% of their approved McLeod County grant amount, and that'll be dependent upon the calculation of remaining available funds and qualified expenses. Sounds simple, but it's very difficult when you're counting on all of these people who are applying for these funds to get you their receipts and their eligible documentation, because at the end of this, McLeod County is responsible for all of the forms being audited. PHB, PL Hansen Beckman and Hutchinson, Scott Ziegler has done a very good job of assisting McLeod County in this process. Colleen Roback, our finance director, and Liz Danielson have all been instrumental in helping carry out the wishes of the CRF committee. And then with those three and myself, we will be responsible for getting all of the information allocated where it needs to be after November 20th, the final due date for anything that needs to be in from our community for these funds, and assuring that the payment goes out to the people who have received approval for the available funds. A reminder to all of our townships and cities that they only had until November 15th to spend their funds, and then any remaining funds have to be allocated back to the county directly from that township or city. Most of them have already reached out, or thankfully spent all of their funds. So that's good. We wanted them to use their funds in their communities. However, if they have not submitted it, they would submit it back, and then this fund balance will increase as well. The education partners have already all been distributed. Community resilience applicants who are approved for receipt of the funds receive 100% payment upon approval of recommendation to the McLeod County Board. Recipients who receive township or city funds received 100% approval or payment upon approval by their township or city, first approved by you as our county board due to fiscal responsibility of funds. And all additional verification of documented expenses is completed prior to distribution of any funds. So with that, I ask you to approve the listing of recipients for this round of grant funds.
Very good. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Nagel is yes. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you all. Item F was amended at the beginning of the meeting, the notification of the Truth and Taxation meeting that will be held at 6:00 p.m. on December 1st, 2020 will be held at the McLeod County Fairgrounds at 840 Century Avenue Southwest, Hutchinson, Minnesota. That'll tentatively be held in either the Agribition building or the commercial building, so watch for updates if you need to attend in person. But this meeting is accommodated virtually, and participants are strongly encouraged to attend virtually, online, or via phone due to the current situation with the pandemic, and especially in our McLeod County community with the spread of COVID. The elected officials' annual review and McLeod County Board meeting on that date will also be relocated to the Fairgrounds Agribition or commercial building location, as well as accommodated virtually, online, or via phone. And those being reviewed are asked to attend virtually. Item G, notification of the County Board workshop to be held following the County Board meeting on December 15, 2020 at the Glencoe City Center Ballroom, 1107 11th Street East, Glencoe, Minnesota. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just a notification for anyone who's in this room attending. When Mr. Chair goes into the closed board meeting to do my annual performance review, this room will remain open. Right now it is 9:58 a.m. I will assume it will open sometime around 10. We will hope to be back here by 10:30 a.m. The workshop will start no earlier than 10:30 a.m. If the review goes longer, then please just wait until we arrive back into the room. And commissioners, when we leave, I will put you into a breakout room, and so it will be County Attorney Mr. Young, Commissioner Kruger, Commissioners Nagel, Wright, and Szymanski, and myself only in that room. And then once you are pushed into that room, your screen and your audio will go away for about a minute. It comes back, you'll start, we'll record that meeting. And then when we come back, just let everyone else know that who will be attending. It's the same thing. It takes a minute for that audio and video to come back up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. And Mike, just make sure I don't get this wrong, but after the review, there'll be no action today, correct?
That's correct. And it does take a motion of the board to go into closed session if that's what you want to do. And I would recommend that. There will not be any report about the evaluation given at the end of this closed meeting. The board will open the closed meeting only for the purpose of adjourning or recessing the county board meeting.
Yes.
But
And that being said,
but there will be a summary of the evaluation given out at the next county board meeting, next regularly scheduled county board meeting. And I believe that's on December 1st or 2nd.
1st, I believe. All right. Because of this convenience and the timing, I will take open forum. There's no one in the boardroom right now, but anyone online wish to address the board? Press relations, I see Karen, you're on. Anything you need from us? Doesn't seem like it. Again.
Mr. Chair?
Yep, yes.
Just before we leave, as far as an open forum subject, I know there's been some telephone calls and whatnot about the ditches and being we're in this Zoom forum. I would encourage anybody respectfully that has any questions that we can do to help them is try, and same with truth and taxation, is try to get us a question before the meeting so we can maybe do a little better job of reviewing it on Zoom, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's probably been the practice forever, but it's really important now considering the format that we have. All right, with that, again, we'll come back to this meeting format at about 10:30. The workshop will start no earlier than that, but hopefully we'll start right then. So I need a motion to go into a closed session.
Mr. Chair, I move that we go into closed session.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Not, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Szymanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Sheila, you'll take care of that. All right, we'll see everyone else back at 10:30.